Hey everybody, and welcome to my live stream about Disney Plus, which launched 3 hours early at midnight this morning. The Mandalorian, Marvel, and all the great geekiness that you get to enjoy thanks to this new gift that we have. To say the launch was smooth would be a lie. There's still people, I believe, that can't access their Disney Plus. Now, here's the weird thing: you can actually, what I was experiencing was through like a Fire Stick or an Amazon Fire device. You couldn't get the app to actually connect. It was having problems, but on my iPhone and on my computer, I could pull it up just fine. I immediately watched The Mandalorian at midnight, and that was great. It wasn't without its problems. I actually wrote a full review on fangirlmag.com about it. It was uneven, but I really enjoyed it. Now, there's a lot of really neat things in the background with The Mandalorian. It was beautifully shot. It definitely is a space western. And then, of course, there's all kinds of spoilers and things going around the internet about it. So just be wary of that. But one big thing that happens at the end, which is a major, oh my gosh, type of thing, is very lone wolf and cub. And that's kind of what the vibe a lot of people were getting, and that's kind of what I got from it as well. Not only is he a kind of a Western gunslinger type, but he's also your lone samurai type kind of a thing. It's going to be interesting. I'm really, really excited to see where they go with this. It was uneven, I'll give it that. There was a lot of it just kind of started. I would have liked a little bit more build up, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was beautiful. I like the fact that it's going to definitely be like Judge Dredd, where he never takes the mask off, which is very what a Mandalorian should do. So yay, Mandalorian. So definitely, if you want a little bit more in depth, some more spoilers, feel free to go to fangirlmag.com and read my full review of the first episode. That show, as is all of the Disney shows on Disney Plus, all of the series are going to be released weekly episodes, weekly episodes, if I can talk. So just be aware of that. So you're not going to be able to marathon things. They're not going to let you get away with that. You're going to have to wait. So the Marvel stuff is glorious that they've got going on. Now, we don't have any of the original Marvel series yet. Those are coming. The one thing, though, that was really great is they do give you a sneak peek of a bunch of the series that are going to be coming, like Loki, WandaVision, the Hawkeye series. But the big one that I'm actually more excited now for, it was Loki, because I knew that was going to be, they're bringing Tom Hiddleston in, and they're going to have like a really neat like time travel thing with that, is What If. The animation looks fantastic for this. Hey, Zinny's joined us. The What If animation looks just glorious. Now, we didn't get a real good look at that at San Diego Comic-Con when they did the big announcement for it. I did know that they were going to have the voices of the actual, like the actors are coming back to voice their stuff. Like Michael Rooker's coming back as Yondu. You're going to have Agent Carter, I'm just blanking on her name, but everyone is actually coming back to voice their own characters, which is a big deal. But What If you don't know, if you're not familiar with the comics, is a really neat concept where they take a moment or something like the storylines from the Marvel comics, such as Jean Grey becoming Dark Phoenix. What if Jean Grey as Dark Phoenix had fallen in love with Wolverine instead of Scott Summers? Well, what happens is the world explodes. And that's actually how that comic ends, if I remember correctly. But they take all of these what if scenarios, and then they're creating episodes for each story. So one that's really, really neat is they're going to have Agent Carter take the Captain America serum instead of Steve Rogers, and she becomes Captain Carter. And there's this really cool shot that they showed of actual Steve Rogers in like what looks like Iron Man armor, because Tony's dad was part of that. Haley Atwell, thank you, Zinni. So she comes back and is voicing her character again. But in this what if scenario, Steve doesn't get the serum. He's still puny little Steve Rogers, but he's in this giant Iron Man armor. And she's like jumping on the back of him, and they're flying around and kicking ass. And it's great. Another what if scenario that looks really cool that I'm really excited to see is what if T'Challa, who is the Black Panther, was actually Star-Lord. So he was the one that got kidnapped instead of Star-Lord himself, Peter Quill. So that looks great. The animation is so neat. And then the one that really threw me, Chadwick, thank you. The character name. He's giving me the actor's name, Chadwick Boseman. But T'Challa as Star-Lord looks fantastic. The one, though, that I was geeking out about, because I'm a huge fan of Marvel Zombies, was they're actually going to have an episode where Captain America becomes a zombie and Bucky has to fight him. And it looks great. So I'm really excited about the What If series. I think it's going to be fun. I love those kind of comics. I've got a lot of them I collected. And yes, T'Challa equals Chadwick Boseman. But I really, really am excited about that show. They all look fantastic. Now, a lot of people weren't aware that you're actually going to have to watch these shows, because they are going to figure into the upcoming films. So I know some people were actually angry about. They're like, well, they're making me have to subscribe. Well, it's like what, $5 or $6 a month, and it's definitely worth it for what you're getting here. They're going to just keep adding things. The other cool aspect of Disney Plus is if you download content, you get to keep it, and you're going to be able to access it even after it's been taken off of Disney Plus. If they're in rotation with it, if you've downloaded it, you get to view it. And that's pretty cool. Now, as I said, the launch wasn't without problems, and it's still kind of having issues. Like I said, there were... Yes, this is Disney using Disney Plus to inject the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That is what's going on here. These stories are going to feed into the upcoming films. One in particular I know is WandaVision and Loki. Those two shows are going to feed into the next Doctor Strange, which will beget Blade. I need a moment. Blade, I'm so stupidly excited about that. But those two series definitely are going to feed into the Doctor Strange series. I can never say his name right. Marshall Ali. Someone please help me with his name. He is going to be Blade. I don't know if he's going to be introduced in the series or if he's going to show up in the films. Yes, yeah. I can never say his name right. I butcher his name. Anyway, the irony there is he was actually in Truth. Marsha Shala. Is that how you say it? Zinni's trying to help me. But the cool thing is with True Detective, he was partnered with Deacon Frost, aka Stephen Dorff, which I found funny. I wonder if that's what gave him the idea. He was the one that came to Marvel for that. Anyway, going off topic. The issues that I've noticed with Disney Plus right now, and this is something if you need to be aware of if you are subscribing, is the fact that the search engine or the lists that they have for content aren't showing you everything. it's really odd. So I was looking around on Twitter because I've basically been playing with this all day and looking and finding things and adding to my watch list. What I noticed today after looking on Twitter, someone had posted that Willow, the movie, the fantastic movie with Val Kilmer, that Ron Howard directed, which was so great back from the 1980s, one of the most beautifully epic and underrated fantasy films of all time, was on there. Well, I was like, I didn't see it. So I went on their search and I pulled up movies A to Z, all of them supposed to show up. It's not showing. It's not there. So that's really, really odd. So I went to the just direct search where you type in the name of the film and it showed up. So just be aware, the search in the search bar, like typing in a direct name, is going to be your friend. Not everything is being listed, which is really strange. I don't know if it's their library just doesn't load properly or what, but that's a big deal because like there are some fantastic films on here that I haven't seen in years that this is giving us access to. As I said, Willow, Return to Oz, that creepy sequel to The Wizard of Oz, is on there. So you can now stream that. There are other ones as well. Like I've just bombarded my watch list. Strange Magic, the really, it's actually really, really good. Recently, like I don't know, it was like 5 years ago, fantasy cartoon that has all this great rock music in it, is on there. Oliver and Company is on there. Tall Tale, The Unbelievable Adventure, which had Patrick Swayze as in it, is on there. All of the Halloween Town movies, Hocus Pocus in 4K. So it's just packed full of really great stuff. Like The Computer Who Wore Tennis Shoes, The Apple Dumpling Gang, all of these like classic Netflix, or I'm sorry, I just looked at the word Netflix and said Netflix. All these classic Disney movies are on there for you to watch. Like really obscure stuff too. Like the one that I was stupidly hyped about to see was Mr. Boogedy is on there. So if you grew up watching, thank you, Zinni. If you grew up watching Disney, the Wonderful World of Disney, and you were a horror geek like me when I was little, Mr. Boogedy was a big deal. And they're supposed to be adding the Bride of Boogedy on there, but it's not there yet. But Mr. Boogedy is on streaming. Let's see what else is on there. Like I think I've mentioned this before, but like the entire Gargoyles TV series, all of the 1990 early 90s X-Men cartoon with that great theme music is on there. The old school, I remember watching this growing up, the Spider-Woman cartoon series is on there. Amazing Spider Friends is on there. So Spider-Man is Amazing Friends. The entire series is on there. There is so much great content. You're going to freak yourself out. But like I said, be sure to check what, type in. If there's something that you are pretty sure should have been included, type it in. That's on there too. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea with James Mason is on there, and Kirk Douglas. That's on there for you to watch. Flight of the Navigator, Escape to Witch Mountain. They're going to keep adding, but right now this is what they launched with. The Three Musketeers with Kiefer Sutherland, Oliver Platt, and Charlie Sheen. The Rocketeer is on there. Let's see, what else? The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, like these classic cartoons. But it's like, and Tron, the original Tron is on there, along with Tron Legacy, and the cartoon series they did, the brief one. And the other one is like Candle Shoe, which is like that really great live action movie with Jodie Foster and David Niven. It's so good. It's on there, which I love. So now the other thing to keep in mind too, that you may not realize until you click on it, like you get psyched and you've added it to your watch list, is not all of these movies are available yet, even though they're listed. I ran into that with the movie Sky High. I was really excited because I love that flick. I went and saw it in the theater. It has Bruce Campbell in it and Kurt Russell. So it says, oh, look, Sky High's there. And then you click on it. It's actually not available until December 1st because Disney still has contracts with people like Netflix, Hulu, other, I think they kind of partially own Hulu, but because of these contracts and they've licensed this stuff out, you're not going to be able to watch it on Disney Plus until that contract ends. So when you do see some of these films listed and you're all excited and you're thinking, oh yeah, I can watch these, nah, you better click on it to make sure. So that's the stuff going on with Disney Plus right now. Some people can't watch it yet. Condor Man is not on there. Hi, Brian. Condor Man is not on there, and it should be, and it might be coming. I would love to see that again. Now, what's really cool is a lot of these films are actually in 4K and HD for the first time ever. One thing that's really, really cool about them is like the Star Wars films, the original movies. They're in like this super high definition quality, which you're not actually going to be able to get. They're I believe either later this year or early next year, they're going to be releasing the Star Wars original films in like 4K format. Right now, if you have a TV able to stream this in that high of a quality, you're going to get that high of a quality with the Star Wars films. Now, keep in mind, they've messed with these a little bit, even more so with the Greedo and Han scene. There's like, he says something like Lucky or something like that. That's been trending today because they've messed with that whole scene again. So just be aware of that when you're watching these. They have tweaked them a little bit. They even have a special edition of Avatar where they've taken out the cussing. So your kids won't be offended, even though apparently big cat alien blue monkey sex with tails is okay, but cussing isn't. I don't know. So just be aware of that. And like I said, be aware that if you think there's a movie there that should be and you're not seeing it, use the search to find it. But the Marvel stuff, like almost everything is there. Like Ant-Man and Wasp is on there now. The other cool thing is on these, say FYI, Twitter trend is Disney Plus fell trending and Disney Plus down. The thing is, I'm able to pull it through my phone and my computer. I've been doing it all day on my computer. The other thing that I wanted to point out is on some of these films, and that even though you think you've seen everything, like for example, man, there's so much. For example, Endgame is on here. Endgame has what they have, like these areas that you can see at the bottom where it says extras. And one of the extras for Endgame, which I guess wasn't actually on the DVD, which has surprised everybody, is they actually have an alternate post-snap scene. Black Hole's on there, Zinni. Black Hole is on there, and it looks great. An alternate post-snap scene of Tony meeting his grown daughter, Morgan, in that same area that Thanos ran into Gamora. And that, I guess, wasn't included on the Blu-ray release, but they have it on here, and you get some commentary from the brothers, the directors, talking about it and why they didn't include it, because it, even though you can't really hear that much of it because they're talking, it looks tear-jerkingly beautiful. And I kind of wish they kept it, because it gives Tony kind of his payment for giving up the rest of his daughter's life and his sacrifice, because he gets to see her. Sort of like that scene in Armageddon where Bruce Willis blows himself up and spoilers, and gets to see his daughter in her wedding gown for the briefest of moments before he dies. So it's really cool that they added things like that, but they're exclusive to Disney Plus, which is kind of neat and kind of, it's smart. So let me go over a couple of things really quickly, and then I will be jumping off here. First of all, I got to tell you about the cartoons, because the cartoons, oh my God, there's so much. I'm really excited. They've got all of the Forces of Destiny. The Forces of Destiny series, if you're not aware, was the very female-centric cartoon series that they did. They were like brief. They're like 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5 at the most. But they showcase all the female characters from Disney, or from Star Wars, which is like Leia has her own episodes. You get more with Rey. You get basically everybody. Even Amidala has her own stuff on here. The other one, which is really, really neat, is Black Cauldron is on here, which is one of the darkest, even though it's called Black Cauldron. I don't know what you were thinking. It wouldn't be happy fun times, I guess. But Black Cauldron is on there. They've got the Silver Surfer cartoon series from the early 90s. They've got the Incredible Hulk cartoon series from the early 90s. 2 different Fantastic Four series. Darkwing Duck is on here. All of the original DuckTales, the new DuckTales, the Star Wars Resistance cartoon, Star Wars Rebels, all of them, Guardians of the Galaxy, like literally every Marvel cartoon you can think of. The one that makes me so happy, though, is the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, because that's never been released on DVD as far as I know. And these look so cleaned up and nice. Howard the Duck, I don't think it's on there. It should be. But like they have the Ultimate cartoons for that they did a couple. Actually, some of these I've never even heard of. Like, I was surprised by how many cartoons there were. Like in the early 90s, Marvel was pumping out cartoons like crazy. But you can search by series and by movie. Now, the other one that there is these exclusive launch movies like Noelle with Anna Kendrick is on there. Frozen's on there. Moana's on there. The New Lady and the Tramp live action is on there as well that you can watch right now. Now, one thing that no, Howard, I don't think it is here. I'm going to do the search because I didn't see it listed. Nope, no Howard the Duck. But the one that, let's see here. I think I just had an error for the first time. Dumbo's on here, the new live action Dumbo. Let's see here. I'm just going to scroll through and see what catches my eye. Now, keep in mind, when you go on and click at the top of the page, some of them will come up. You'll see like not a lot of films, and it's because they default to featured. So you don't see all of them. Now you'll want to click all movies A to Z, and that pulls up everything in alphabetical order for you. But like these older, like I can't reiterate how awesome it is to see these older Disney films here. Like Zinni had said 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Then you have things like The Absent-Minded Professor, the original one, The Adventures of Bullwhip Griffin, like things I'd never heard of. Almost Angels. These are like from the 60s and 70s that were part of the live action push that Disney used to do. They used to do a lot of live action films. You got Babes in Toyland, Bedknobs and Broomsticks is on here, Benji the Hunted. Now, one thing, this is just me because I feel like I need to warn people about this. Keep in mind that there are a lot, if you're worried about your kid bawling their eyes out, there are a lot of movies listed here that will make your kid cry. If you're not, all the Love Bug movies, all the Herbie movies, those won't make your kid cry. There are movies on here that's going to make your kid cry. Just be aware of And not in like the violent, horrible thing way, like they're going to scare them. There are some sad films on this list, and I'm like looking through. I'm like, nope, nope, nope. Like The Biscuit Eater, Old Yeller, I think is on there too. The Biscuit Eater, the original black and white one. This is the Disney version, but it ends the same way. But that movie will ruin you if you're a dog lover. It will ruin you for real. Just be aware of that. We're talking Where the Red Fern Grows level of, oh God, why did I watch this? So like, as I said, there's a ton of stuff here, stuff I've never heard, like The Castaway Cowboy with James Garner. There's just basically everything. Christopher Robin is on here as well. So I'm going to assume there's going to be even more Kurt Russell movies, because he was like a Disney staple back in the 70s, and these movies that he was in. The Fox and the Hound's on here. The Strongest Man in the World. That's another young Kurt Russell. So Super Friends is DC. That's DC. Zinni is confused by his comic book companies. But so anyway, I hope this was informative for you. I hope you learned something. It helps you along with utilizing Disney Plus. So, and yeah, so be aware when you're looking for something specific, like say the Return to Oz. That's one that didn't show up, but it's there. So they're still working the kinks out of their system. And same thing with Willow. So just use that search engine to help you look for stuff. That's going to help you a little bit. They do have subcategories too, like they have a Spider-Man collection and a Marvel animation collection, the Disney Channel collection, which is going to give you like the High School Musical stuff, and all of the Descendant movies are there. So just be aware. The other thing really quickly that I forgot to mention is Jeff Goldblum's got a series down there as well, called The World According to Jeff Goldblum. And that's part of the Nat Geo stuff, because National Geographic is part of Disney now. So there's a lot of these nature shows too, which is pretty neat. But his series is going to be another one where it's every week you get a new episode. This first one is really fascinating because it's about the sneaker like movement. There's like this whole subculture of sneaker junkies, and they do have some of those. So you'll just have to go look at them for the Marvel cartoons, because they do have quite a few. Yeah, I believe they have all of those. But the sneaker subculture, like Jeff Goldblum had no idea that sneakers was a whole thing. And so I know friends that pay a lot of money for those shoes. So he goes to a sneaker convention and he sees just like the wads of cash being tossed down for these things. He goes to Adidas headquarters in Portland, and is learning about sneakers and how they're like this big high-tech industry, and seeing how there's these people that are just crazy nuts about sneakers and spending ungodly amounts of money on them. So it's kind of cool to watch him learn about this stuff, because he's Jeff Goldblum and he's just fun to see anyway. But it's actually smart and cool. And I didn't know how deep the well went when it came to sneakers. So thank you, Jeff Goldblum. And thank you for your glorious hair and big smile. But yeah, so check it out. Let me see here. There's a whole subsections that you can find on their website. There's a whole area for series. And like I said, the default is featured. So you'll want to make sure to change that to all, so you can see as much as you can. As I said, the search thing isn't the best, so you may want to look directly for something that you know is there. Also, Gravity Falls is part of this now, so they have all of Gravity Falls, all of the Jonas Show. So if you're a Jonas Brothers fan, it's all there for you. It's kind of insane how much is there. It's and they're going to keep adding to it. So anyway, guys, I hope this was fun for you, informative. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If I'll try to answer. And if there's anything else that you'd like me to focus on in the future, comment below, let me know, let Zenny know, and I'll be back with that. So yeah, thank you guys. Talk to you later, and go Disney Plus.